This meeting is being recorded.
All right, then. Thank you. Day 4, the new temptations. While we will broaden the focus of today's dialogue beyond that of money or abundance, we will still be addressing this area of your concern, as well as all other concerns that may be surfacing as you begin to move through the steps towards acceptance. Your anger will be serving you here as it brings attention to these areas most incorrectly influenced by the time of learning. Remember here all the arguments that I needed to present in the earlier part of this course, just to convince you that you are not alone and separate. Although my arguments were not fed by anger, your response will almost surely have been tinged with it at times. Although my arguments were not fed by anger, the argument that arose now for you will be, and as such are actually appropriate to this stage of our dialogue. We can argue here before we go on. We face together here the temptations of these arguments, these temptations of the human experience.
If we slow down a tiny little bit, just a tiny little bit slower, so we can let it sink in. Thanks, Marco.
Can I argue with you in a minute?
Yeah.
And don't forget about the italics. We need emphasis on the italics.
Thank you, Kim.
I like that too.
Yeah, the italics are really important. They are important.
And if there is a question mark, make sure you actually come up with an answer. He's not putting those questions just to kind of entertain some ideas. They actually that was one of the Jesus's way of saying he asked you a question, and if you answered it, you would get in touch with something real within yourself.
Yeah. I think occasionally they are a rhetorical question, but most of them are direct questions.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I'll do one more here.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Yes, we do not argue simply by engaging in debate. To engage in debate is but a strategy for proving one side right and one side wrong. We must begin with the realization that we are on the same side. The arguments we will be having will be meant to show you this, that on one side are the temptations of the human experience, which is just another way of saying all that you have learned, or all that you have learned. On the other side will be the truth. New temptations that will incite you to leave behind the temptations of the human experience. How can you feel as if you have a choice when the temptations of the human experience are the only choices that have been known to you? Thus, you must be given the opportunity here to see what other choices might be before you. Kevin?
No. Okay, now I've got to try and remember all the rules about reading.
The pressure's on, isn't it?
Oh, it's even worse for me because I say the wrong words sometimes as well. As we discussed in yesterday's dialogue.
You missed one.
You missed a line there, Kevin.
You missed the Kevin.
You got an E for that.
We have to be vigilant for the word.
How did I do that?
Kevin, we would love to hear you start again from 4.4.
4.4. Okay. Real choice is the first new temptation. As we discussed in yesterday's dialogue, learning has not been a choice. Both as divine design and as a pattern of the thought system of the ego, learning has been with you and within you. Although the divine design of the time of learning is being recreated, the ceaseless pattern of learning remains. The divine design of learning was a given and a natural part of you, much like breathing. You have no choice about breathing, yet neither do you, under normal circumstances, have to think about breathing. You might begin to think of all the givens of unity as those things that require no thinking. Learning was not meant to be linked with thinking. Why not? Again, I'll draw your attention to the learning of childhood. Learning begins long before the onset of the time of language that constitutes your ideas about what it means to think. In evolutionary terms, this was true as well. Despite the creation story that symbolizes man's journey, early man was not a being who learned in the same way that you do. Early man had no language.
Well, what a relief, huh?
Yeah. His mind was not full of thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Early man and early childhood can thus be linked as examples of a kind of learning that, despite evolution, has not left any of you. You all begin life without the ability to think in the terms you now associate almost exclusively with thinking. The terms of having thoughts or words in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Okay.
That's why I keep saying, like, when you begin to feel again, imagine you now thinking, and imagine you replaced it with feeling right now. Where are your thoughts? Gone in an instant. If you stay in a feeling realm, which we are accustomed not to stay there, we're accustomed to live up here. But when we drop into the feeling realm, the thoughts immediately stop. Now what?
Yeah.
What does that feel like, huh? Imagine like you let go of everything you know, and imagine that anything to say would be totally unimportant here. The only important thing would be that we can feel each other. If we can feel this unity that joins us together, that we're in this amazing realm together. And all you can feel is that. Mark is already having an experience. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. That's it. Yeah.
Beautiful reminder.
It is, like even, for those who've done the course, what does it say? These thoughts do not mean anything. What do you do then? Well, let me think about that. Yeah. So we replace the thinking, constant thinking, and we go into feeling realm, and then you will still think, but it will be more grounded in this wholeness of togetherness with the feeling self. Because our feeling self is a very important part of ourselves.
And that's where I get a bit confused and find it a bit contradictory when the A Course in Miracles talks about I am not the body, because I've always thought my body to be a very reliable source of language for me.
Yeah. Well, I think what Course is really doing when it does that is more than saying, like, you're not just a body, because most people think that that's all they are.
Yeah, I get that.
You're not a body, you're more than that. Yeah. But I think it's like when the soul is not incarnated, when we don't really truly feel ourselves, we're not a body. We're just, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. When you incarnate yourself, even the body, like this whole course actually saying, there is an elevated, it begins to elevate, it begins to vibrate differently.
It expands as well. There's an expansion.
Bingo. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Kim, you want to continue?
Yes. Oh, did we stop in the middle?
No, surely not. Even after, didn't I get to that up to the end?
And yet this is the way learning was designed to be. We stopped there, or I thought we stopped.
I think it begins at even after the onset of language.
Oh, I must have read ahead in my mind or something. Sorry. Okay. Even after the onset of language, children continue to learn without thinking. Does this not sound odd, foreign to you? And yet this is the way learning was designed to be. Learning was given as a natural means of access to all that was available to you.
Excuse me, Kim. Can you slow down a little bit?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Learning was given as a natural means of access to all that was available to you, but not through effort any more than breathing was designed to be effortful. Learning was designed, like the intake of breath, to be taken in and given out, inhaled and exhaled, inhaled and expressed. The ability to learn is given to all in like measure. The conformity of learning, however, is the product of an externalized system. That you all attempt to learn the same things, and in coming to identify the world in the same way, the way that has been taught, think that you have succeeded in learning is the cause of the insanity of the world and of your anger with the way things are within the world.
Wow, that's amazing.
Ooh. This is an anger that stems from lack of choice. Oh, yeah. I get really angry with that. Like, if I feel someone hasn't given me a choice, oh, I really get. When you are taught the way things are, where is the room for choice? Where is the room for discovery? And to find out you were taught incorrectly. Why should you not be angry?
Wow.
Yeah. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Quite mammoth, isn't it, really?
Yes.
Or it can be as mammoth as you make it, or think it rather, but it's like completely undoing everything that you've been taught.
Yes. There is a joy when we let go imagine just for a moment again, like letting go of everything you know.
Yeah.
Immediately smiles me, you know, I was like, oh, what a relief.
Mm.
Catch up on where we are for people who've come in late. We're on day 4 of the 40 days and 40 nights, the new temptations, and we're up to 4.10, I think. Are you finished, Kim?
Yes.
Okay, Cole, you're next.
My next, cool. So
you are here now.
You are here now, not to relearn or be taught what life is all about, not to relearn or to be taught the way things are, but to discover what life is all about and to discover the way to remake things as they are. To discover the way to remake things as they are. This is the new choice, the first new temptation. And the second new temptation is access. You have been told that in unity, a place exists in your natural state.
That is my natural.
Yes, thank you, ladies. Exists that is in your natural state.
We've got 2 Nazis here now.
I know. I'm almost getting like anxious. I was like, shit. Get this right, Cole. Learn to read for once. Oh, beautiful. I just get completely, because this is the place of access. And that is such a profound experience when the truth begins to, as if seep in through like a part of us. I'm already triggered in that. So, where was I? Gosh, I'm out.
4.13.
You have been told.
You have been told that in unity, a place exists that is your natural state, a state free from want, a state free from suffering, a state free from learning, and a state free from death. Let's park right here, guys. Wow. Do this one again. A state free from want, a state free from suffering, a state free from learning, and a state free from death. To be told that such a place exists is no more comforting than consoling words if you do not feel you have access to this place. It is like being told that all of the treasure you might desire is locked away behind a gate to which you have no key. Access, then, is the key to the treasure. How many of you guys have access?
Well, I only have access when I am in complete peace, which is very rare.
Yeah. Anyone else has access?
Yeah, I've been in a space where I've been doing something that maybe I haven't done before and I don't know how to do it. And yeah, and I think if I'm in that peaceful state and I'm not trying to figure out how to do it, often the way shown, like I just find myself doing it, but I didn't know how. Like it just sort of happens on its own. Yeah, it's amazing, but it's very rare.
It happens on its own, and it requires zero effort. Actually, that's the moment when we're no longer applying learning and some kind of study and some wanting, like free from, a state free from want. Imagine you don't want anything and suddenly everything's given. Because the effort is exactly what deprives us of paradise.
Yes.
You know, like trying is dying, you know?
Yeah, it's very unusual. Like it hasn't happened very often, but when it does, it's like, it's very miraculous, you know?
It absolutely is.
How did I do that?
And exactly. And then you want to find a technique so you can all of us find it, that it's exactly what kills it.
Oh, there's no technique.
There's no technique because it's all given. It's already, like it's in our natural inheritance. Actually, the access is our natural inheritance. And it is experiential. And at best, you can't describe it even. You know, don't you find it like, if you had to describe it, it's like almost impossible? That's why we are like talking about something that's, you can't grasp it, because the minute you do, you just killed it.
But yeah, there's no thinking involved at all.
Beautiful.
Interesting, isn't it? The word access and the word acceptance are very similar.
Yes. And success sounds like access.
All right, Kevin, who is next in heaven?
Alison T.
Access, then, is the key to the treasure. We have spoken at some length about access that seems to come through the mind. We have spoken of thoughts that arise that you didn't think. We have spoken of talents that were not learned. We have spoken of ideas that were not gained through effort. We have spoken of these things to begin to familiarize you with the given world as opposed to the world of your perception. What you might call a worldview attained through learning. Oh my God. If you will contemplate for a moment what you know about the example left by my life, you will almost surely realize fairly quickly that my life challenged the worldview of the time, and that it is still challenging the worldview of your time. Why might this be? Let me assure you of what you already know. that everything about my life was purposeful. That challenge was meant then and continues to mean now a call to a new choice. It asks that you challenge your worldview in the most thorough manner. Oh my God. I just, felt like, I think that's the first time I really felt the anger of what I've been taught. That I'm just really feeling this, and I've been feeling a lot of irritation for weeks actually, but I'm feeling like, yeah, the anger about what I've been taught, that I've been taught everything.
It's not even so much.
Wrong. It's wrong.
It is so much more than what we've been taught. It's how we've been taught to learn,
Yeah. It's led me to run my life in a way that is so foreign to the truth.
Mm.
And it's a big tangle that needs to be untangled now. Anyway, we've got the help.
Well, anger is so beautiful. You see, we have so much judgment. We are actually taught as well to go against anger. So if you feel angry, that's just not cool, right?
Yeah.
The minute you stop doing that, unlearn to attack your anger, it actually becomes a natural free flow of energy. Actually, it's almost like that's the access in some way. Because we are free flow, and at some point we're locked in, and now we're locked in this lockdown, basically. We call it life. But when that grip stops, when you no longer stop any energies that are arising, you become free-flowing agent. Yeah?
Yeah, I'm really angry about that learning's so hard and takes so long, like you take your whole life to learn some stupid simple thing.
Yeah,
and
what for?
True,
what for? Like, that's the other thing, is what for? Not for my own benefit, for the benefit of this. Yeah, anyway.
And I've not tried so many things because I just thought, oh, this would be too hard for me. Damn it. If we're all given the same thing, like what did it say? We're all given.
And let's think of something, one more thing. Before you were learned anything, what were you? Yeah, you were sounding. All you could do, you make sound, and you could move. And you would get grumpy, and you would cry, and you would laugh, and you will be.
But we also soaked everything in just like a sponge sitting there. It all just came into us.
Yes, and as soon as you were expressing it, they stopped you.
And that's a shame thing too. I was like seeing that this morning, the shame of being told, no, you are guilty for doing that.
Beautiful. Yes. All right, let's see what's next.
I just want to say one little thing, because Kim sort of shared how she had experience of learning without trying, and I've been having that a little bit lately, and it's just really nice, like being in the garden. I actually don't know how to do this, and then just being shown how to do it. It's what he talks about, the givens. It is just given.
Yeah.
If you're open to it, if I'm open to it. Anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, to me it was like an accidental state, like just seemed to happen, and I don't know how it happened. So I couldn't recreate it. Just but that's our natural state, isn't it? Shit.
Yeah, we're co-creators.
I just imagine the joy there would be in being with everyone doing their own thing the way it came to them, and just seeing and being together instead of having to run this bloody world the way it's run. Oh my God. It would be such a different experience.
Mm.
Who's next?
Pamela, are you reading today?
I can do, yeah, if you can understand me. Where are we at?
The problem
The
with this
example?
throughout the centuries, 4.18.
The problem.
Yep.
The problem with this throughout the centuries has been a tendency to challenge one worldview, only to replace it with another of no greater truth or value. You got to laugh. My challenge has been reacted. My challenge has been reacted to as a challenge. Oh, this is really hard to read. My challenge has been reacted to as a challenge to be externalized. The challenge has been reacted to as a challenge to be externalized. A call to create a new system, but nowhere in my example life is such a system found, despite all attempts to make it so. Ooh, that's a lot to take in, isn't it? Well, look how hard the job Jesus had.
Yeah, well, you know, people wanted to make him the king so he could create a new world order, and that wasn't what he was doing. And
Yeah.
No,
No.
exactly.
When hence it comes, he says, you know, my kingdom is not of this world. And this is the hardest thing, because we somehow think that we need to start, like, put this divinity into this. And it will never work that way.
No, it's square peg in a round hole.
Yes.
I think it's called religion.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Will I continue?
Yes,
Yep.
please.
The example often used for the creation of a system is that of my attraction of followers, my claiming of disciples. The term disciple can be linked here with the idea of succession. When I asked
What I asked.
Thank you. What I asked of my disciples is not more than I ask of you.
Mm.
I asked them to follow in my way. I asked them to be not as they once were, but to be as I am.
Bingo. Guys, this is such a key thing. I asked them to follow in my way. He didn't say follow me. He said follow in my way. Say, I am the light of the world. Say it. You know? He didn't say, I am the light of the world and you poor guys, you know?
No,
Says,
he wanted to be on the same level as us.
Yes, and he is. That's why he calls us brothers and sisters. Yeah, beautiful. I love this section. This was a game changer. That one sentence, I ask them to follow in my way. And I go, oh, this is different.
The way, the truth, and the
Yes,
life.
yes.
Yeah.
Say what I said. My kingdom is not of this world. The kingdom of God is within. Say it.
Walk my talk.
Yeah, walk my talk. Don't worship me.
No.
Beautiful. Go on.
I asked them to be not as they once were, but to be as I am. I asked them to live not in the world of their former perception, in a world view that was taught to them, but to live in a new world, and by doing so, to demonstrate a new way.
Wow. Ta-da.
I really feel him speaking. I mean, I know,
yes.
I know he is speaking all through the book, but I really feel it in this section.
Mm-hmm. Well, eventually, we are one heart, and that heart that he is us. He just reminds us. He's like, hey, if you get out of your head, which is the Herod, you go into the Christ, you go into your heart. You will not be overthinking anything. Even right now, let's just drop into the heart. And now say something. You can't, can you? Just be in your heart, be in your heart, be in your heart. And now there's no mind. And let's give all that power we gave to the mind, let's give it to the heart. All that attention, all that expression, just coming from the heart. Ooze it before you lose it,
Yeah, because there's so much effort from the mind.
Oh.
And it really wastes so much energy. And when we drop into the heart, then we're in the flow.
Bingo. Mm-hmm.
And that's the second coming, yeah?
Yeah.
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 It's the best coming.
And in the New Age world, they call it the Christ consciousness. It's all the same thing.
Yeah, it depends where it is. They can call it whatever. If they're not experiencing it, then we just
it's experiential.
A thought system that's just as stupid as the first one was.
Yeah, it's just a token.
Genuine experience when we actually could sit in silence and really experience the oneness we are.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So who is next, Keva?
No, I had a moment when in the middle of that paragraph where he says, I'll read the sentence twice because the sentences I ask them to be not as they once were, but to be as I am. And I experience it as I ask them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Not as they once were, but to be
as I am.
As I am. Like
I am
it's so different. And yet it's not wrong to read it any other way, but that's how I heard it. Wow. And I thought of the whole movement being expression thing in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the I am not being what I think I am.
Yeah, just I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am before Abraham was.
I see the I am as being the all, the one.
Mm-hmm.
I am, yeah. I am that I am.
Mm-hmm.
Often I've meditated on be still and know that I am God. And that's taken me quite deeply.
Yes.
And at times when I've been saying that and gone deeply, it has felt like I am God. Not in a grandiose sense.
Yes, of course.
But yeah. Be still and know that I am God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We all are. Yeah.
There's this beautiful video of Carl Jung, where they asking him, someone asked him, do you believe in God? And he goes, yeah, but then he goes, oh, no. I don't believe, I know. He's just the innocence of a child. He's his old man, but that knowing oozes out. Like it just reminds us just that very same thing. Like believing is one thing, but to know God,
Yeah.
That brings that peace.
We had an artist here in New Zealand, I don't know, around about the 60s, I think. His name was Colin McCann, and he painted this huge painting I am. And like he was having mystical experiences as he painted, and he painted like Christian text, like biblical texts and stuff, but he did this huge I am. And he was ridiculed for it by a lot of people. But some people got it, and now that painting is sitting in well, a copy of it anyway is sitting in one of the universities in Wellington, cafe there, and I went in and filmed it. It was amazing. Anyway, just a little thing. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
I had read.
Carry on.
Sorry.
No, carry on.
I had read in the original Aramaic words of Jesus where he says, I am. He says it twice. He says, I am the I am. But when it got translated to just the I am, I am in the I am.
So you can't figure that one out, but you just, there's that the knowing, there's the experience behind it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think when you're in that state where you're not thinking and it's given, that's the I am. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there.
Beautiful. So let's get on.
Samuel, are you reading today?
Yeah, I can read.
Awesome.
If I can find it.
4.20.
Yeah. In the time of learning, however, it was natural that my example life was seen as something from which to learn. In order to teach what my life represented to those who did not know me, methods of teaching were devised. From these methods of teaching, rules developed. The teaching was externalized and institutionalized. People began to see following me as belonging to an externalized institution, trying to learn what it would teach and trying to live by the rules it would have them obey. Much progress was made within these institutions, but also much misleading was done.
That's it.
This feeling of being misled is another cause of your anger. One of the primary causes, in truth. Not only is all that you have learned led to an inaccurate worldview in the here and now, but to an inaccurate worldview of the past, of the hereafter, of me, and of God. Not only has your mind been misled, but your heart and soul as well. What could bring solace to an anger so profound? How can you be certain you are not being misled once again? The answer to both come in the statement purpose of A Course of Love, establishing your identity. You needed to first know yourself as a being existing in union before you could know anything else with the certainty you seek. For union is the treasure that has been locked away from you. You want me to continue?
Yeah, keep going.
Can stop there. I like that last paragraph.
Yeah. It's making me feel that I can be a little easier on myself for getting so angry sometimes.
Perhaps there'd be something wrong if we weren't angry. Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Mm.
I think that the key is that you are trying to, we've been misled to think that what we're trying to learn isn't us already. You are what you're trying to learn. You exist in unity, and that's the starting point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it has always been externalized.
Yeah.
Which I think that's the biggest mistake. Error.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, who's next?
We'll leave the off-camera ones. I don't know, Mark, are you still there?
There is. And there's reason.
You're on mute though, Mark, if you're reading.
Oh, sorry, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. All right. I just want to say one thing though. That just triggered me for my childhood as brought up as a Catholic and being an altar boy. And the Monday mornings, the priest would come in and give us the sermon on the whole bullshit book. And I don't know, it was a very young, as a child, you could just see the falsity of what they were telling you, and they used to piss me right off. Anyway, okay. 24 is it, Kev?
Yep.
Thank you. What many forgot after the passing of the first of my disciples was that they had access to this treasure. They still knew that it existed. But since they knew not how to access it, they called it the kingdom of heaven and longed for access to it after death. Your anger here extends to yourself as well. For all of you know how many of my words have been forgotten, how many of the truths I expressed were still available to you, even within your religious institutions. You feel, perhaps, that you did not try hard enough or pay enough attention to separating the truth from the false. But blaming yourself does no more good than blaming others. For without the dismantling of the ego self, without the dismantling of the self as separate and alone, you could not learn the truth, no matter how much attention you paid, no matter how mightily you tried. For on your own, you cannot learn the truth. Seems key. For on your own, you cannot learn the truth.
Mm-hmm.
On your own, only illusion can be learned. For your starting place is illusion. Oh, okay.
Comes back to that resign as your own teacher. It's not
And you're not alone. So to come from an I'm alone to learn, it's just, you can't. You're in union with everybody and everything. Oh,
and you
union is both.
What hit me strong also that we are in relationship to everyone, even those we not prefer to have in our life. That's the relationship we have, but we cannot be in relation. We cannot not be in a relationship. Because everything is relationship. That's just incredible.
Union is both the treasure and the key to the treasure. Oops, get away. Sorry. What happened then?
26.
Oh, the page moved, sorry. Union is both access and the place to which you desire access. As all that exists in truth, union is means and end. To know the basic truth of who you are, that you are a being who exists in unity rather than in separation, is thus the first step to the access that you seek. Without knowing this, without knowing the truth of your existence, how could you be done with learning? This was what learning was for. And learning is not the way to the access that you seek. As all that exists in truth, the truth of who you are is means and end as well. Within you is the access that you seek, just as within you is the kingdom of heaven. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Back to me. The access that you seek is not a tool that can be purchased through your right actions or even your longing and desire. For this access is not a tool but a function of who you are. This access is like breathing, something that is natural to you until you begin to think about it. Someone want to say anything? It's a few words going on.
Until you begin to think about it, yes.
Your responses. Realize how unnatural your breathing becomes when it becomes the focus of your thought. Thinking about breathing imposes an unnatural constraint upon a natural function. Thinking in this time beyond learning could be rightly seen as a constraint, but you try to impose on all that is natural. Your thinking, since it is a product of learning, does nothing but attempt to learn or teach. These are the natural responses of its training. Thus, a major key to your discovery of all that exists within you in the state of unity is an end to thinking as you know it.
Wow.
Wow, isn't that incredible? Is the end
That's
of thinking as you know it.
oh yeah.
The next paragraph's a long one, Kim.
Okay.
Mm.
In practical terms, you might think of this as a disengagement from the details. Thinking is about details.
Mm.
I am imparting to you the key to abundance and all the treasure that will come with the end of the time of learning. You, on the other hand, are thinking, yearning, grasping for the details.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how do I do that?
You would like to know how, what, when, and where. While you concentrate on such as these, you impose a function unnatural to this time of Christ consciousness upon this time. It is as if you ask to see clearly and then hold your hands over your eyes. You cover over the portal of access to unity with a film of illusion. You hide the gate in mist. Remember your breathing and how your concentration upon it affects it. Even learned skills react to this type of concentration. Oh.
Mm.
A pianist who suddenly thinks of the notes she is playing falters. An athlete who suddenly thinks of the requirements of the athletic task he is about to perform fails to perform with excellence. Why? Because a film of the unnatural is placed over the natural.
Amazing, huh?
Access simply exists within your natural state, much like breathing is simply a fact of the natural life of the body. I'll go one more.
Go.
Many, however, have applied a different kind of focus upon breathing as a form of meditation. In doing so, they let the natural serve the natural. Some might go into the breathing and become one with it. Others might become the observer and in so doing remove themselves from the body entirely. Okay, I'm done.
Cole.
There is a similar type of focus that will serve you now. It is not a tool, as is meditation, for you are no longer in need of tools, but you have taken yourself away from the ordinary world. You are on top of the mountain. What is this all about?
I always wondered why tool was used as, derogatory format versus a tool. Sorry.
Oh, good to see you have a good time on your thoughts there. Cute. What is this all about? Why have we gathered together here? It is said that during my 40 days and 40 nights, I meditated and or prayed. It is said that I fasted. You have been told that you are here to fast from want. you know that you are here to experience both the old temptations and the new. You realize that this is the purpose of our time together here, even though you have not put this purpose into words and put these words into your mind. This is the focus of which I speak.
What is the focus?
Thank you. What is the focus of which I speak? The focus that is not meditation, the focus that is not a tool. This is the focus on access itself.
Yes, Eckhart Tolle talks about that the tools will all slip away.
Yes.
He doesn't say not to use them if it helps you, but he says they will eventually slip away.
Yeah. You might think on the mountaintop as a symbolic of a place close to God. If God was once seen as a figure in heaven, and heaven as a place beyond the clouds, then a mountaintop was symbolic of proximity. This was symbolic of a place from which God was almost touchable, as if one could raise one's arm and touch God, stretch just a little more and reach heaven. You thus may think of this time on a mountain as a time of getting in touch with your own access to God, your own access to heaven. You might think that if you stretch your idea of reality just a little bit further, stretch your mind just a little beyond where it is comfortable going, that there you will find this access, this portal to all that lies beyond time and space, to all that exists in a place of unity. Who is the next?
Alison.
We talked earlier of this time as a time of fulfillment and desire. We acknowledge that your desire is stronger than ever before. Now is the time to focus on this desire and fulfillment, to stretch this desire to its limits, all the while realizing that its fulfillment lies already accomplished within, in the access that lies within. This is a longing that carries with it the desire to go beyond thinking, the desire to go beyond words, the desire to go beyond where your imagination is capable of taking you. It is a desire for true discovery, a desire to access the previously unknown. You must realize that here is where fear must be totally replaced by love. If you fear to go where the portal of access will take you, you will not go. Thus, your desire needs to be greater than your fear. Love needs to reign. Love of self and love of your brothers and sisters. Love of the natural world, of the world of form that is. Love of the idea of the new world that can be. All of these must come together and be victors over the reign of fear. What choice have you made, my sister and my brother, if you have not made a choice of love? If you have not made the choice to reject fear? If you have not made the choice for the new? If you are still willing to say that you can only go so far in your acceptance of the truth of who you really are, then our purpose of being together here on this mountaintop will go unfulfilled. What tempts you here? To turn and look toward the towns and cities below, or to turn and look up to the portal of access to unity? Do you turn and look back at form and matter? Or do you turn and look up where no form exists? Do you believe you can choose the formless and still return to the towns and cities, the green grass and the blue sea below? Why are we here but to show you these two choices? From where else could you so clearly see the choice between form and the formless?
Well, this is a very long chapter. So shall we maybe leave with that question on our mind? And here. Also that paragraph 39, that was beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
The choice of love. Beautiful, huh? So anything needs to be said? Anything needs to be shared before we go?
Well, I guess it's for me reading that last paragraph, it sounds like he's saying we get to choose between the formless and form, and I don't understand, because we're still here in the world. I don't get it. So I guess that my head wants to work out what it is he's telling us again.
But it's just saying, like, we for a moment you will. I think that's also why the Course of Miracles was so quick. Like, let's just drop the body, let's drop everything else, so you have an quick access to unity, so you actually get an experience. And you can't have it in this very dense state, very difficult. But once you have the access, then you can go into density and dispel it more.
It seems to me that we need the form to go to the formless, and then to be different in the form that we have.
He also says something interesting. Sorry to.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is a Skype thing. Yeah. Do you want to finish that?
Oh, finished. Thank you.
He also says that the part of us that is Christ is something that is divine and human. We accessing the divine, so then we can come and dispel the human into another way of being altogether. So yeah, you learn of light, and then you bring it with you.
They work together.
Just like in a course, not by preaching to it, not by preaching anyone, but just a quiet recognition of your own inner experience. That's what makes you an oozer. And that's what actually touches everything around you. And then slowly, things begin to shift, even in this world. Like the kingdom is everywhere. God is in everything I see, right? Or not, right? It's just that little distinction right there. If I see you as whole, then you will be whole. If I don't see you as whole, then I'm suffering.
I see form as just part of the natural world that we're in. But in order to be in the love, we need to go to the thing that's not form.
But that's what is easier, like he says in here, like go on top of the mountains and you should look into the nothingness, like look into this, and you will have an access. He's basically giving us little hints how to access this access effortlessly, how it just comes. But somewhere you have to prepare the conditions a little bit.
Yeah.
Like dislodge the thought, that dislodge the thinking structure and just be caught in a question and answer world where you're looking for answers.
It's a paradox, like in paragraph 38, he says, you realize that here is where fear must be totally replaced by love. But the thing about it, the only way for me to replace fear totally is to go into that place where it isn't there. And then he says,
but you can't go there from fear.
You can't go there. Yeah, you can't go there from fear. You have to, anyway, it's just like a bit of it's almost like a paradox.
Yes.
But somehow it's possible because I know I have done it. Yeah.
Beautiful, guys.
Anyway, it's wonderful, wonderful text. And, I'm blown away that we can do this together every week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. And we'll be seeing you all very soon.
Thank you.
Yes. Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.